This is an open house for the moving of the Watkins Blacksmith Shop from South Casco here to the Historical Society campus. So it's a very exciting day, and a lot of effort, a lot of work and effort has gone into this by a number of volunteers. Because the whole thing is on account of Skip Watkins making this available, which should be recognized. This is the Watkins farm, and he donated the land and basically allowed these buildings to be on his family homestead.
Where we're sitting here has been in the Watkins family for over 200 years. It was my intentions to build a museum, donate it to the Raymond Casco Historical Society, and I think it was, for me, it was very important. We all like to think where we're going, but there isn't everybody that knows where they come from.
Well, I got a phone call one day, and the gentleman said, is the Historical Society interested in a blacksmith shop? And I said, well, that's something we've always talked about. That's something Skip Watkins, who built the museum for us, was interested in having. So we might consider doing that. And so I called David Allen, and David and I went up and looked. Was kind of overwhelmed with what we saw. The building was dilapidated. The insurance company had told the gentleman that owned it that it needed to be torn down because it was just was not in good enough shape. And so we said, well, we'll look at it. On my way home, I stopped and saw Don Willard, who's the town manager in Raymond, a good friend of mine. I was telling him about it, and he said, you've got to get a hold of Bob Schmick up at Orrington at the current homestead, because he's an expert on blacksmith shops. So I went home, looked it up, gave him a call, told him who I was, what we were doing, and he said, I'd like to come down and take a look at it and see what you got. So the following week he called and said, hey, listen, I'm coming through Casco tomorrow. Can I see the shop? I said, absolutely. So we got a hold of David, another gentleman, and we met him here, showed him the museum, and then we took him down and showed him the shop. He looked at it and he said, this is an absolute gem. This shop has to be saved. If you can restore this shop, it probably will be the best blacksmith shop in New England.
Frank McDermott reached out to me because he had heard through the grapevine that I had the original anvil to the shop. And what had happened was around sometime in the 1940s, my grandfather, whose name was Fred Dingley, had married Madeline Watkins, who was Albert's daughter, and Albert was Bill's son. Albert took the shop over after Bill passed away. After the shop had closed, my grandfather, being a jack of all trades, says, well, I'm not going to let that anvil go to waste. I'm going to go get that anvil. So he did. I was full-fledged into the project, and my mother was a genealogist, and she was super excited about this. As a matter of fact, many of the tools that you see on the display on the inside were tools that she had saved from this shop back in the early 80s. And the story that she told, she went up to the shop and got the tools, and great-grandpa Albert said, what do you want those old tools for? And she goes, well, they're special, Grandpa, and she had matted them and presented them, and that's what our basement looked like. All those tools were in our basement, and showed them to Albert, and I guess he got a little misty-eyed that someone cared enough to do that for him. Unfortunately, my mother passed away last May 29th, and we started this project shortly after. We began to disassemble this building on July 1st. There was a lot of prep leading up to that. The building was taken apart in 9 sections. The roof came apart in 3. The 2 side walls came apart in 2 sections, and then we took the 2 gable ends and brought them up here.
Took us 2 days to take it apart, and took us a day and a half to put it back up again. It went together like a set of Tinker Toys. It was just amazing how the thing went back together. It was because Ed knew what he was doing. And So we've been doing that since. It's been little under a year from the time we started to take the thing apart to today. David Allen and Greg Plummer, the three of us have been working on this thing steadily for a year. The last 2.5 months we've been here 5 days a week, just getting it ready. There's been a lot of hard work has gone into this to get it to the point we are at now. It never would have happened except for these two gentlemen here, David Allen and Greg Plummer.
And you too, Frank.
Greg has put in untold hours getting this shop ready. I couldn't count the hours this man has put in.
You'll get the bill.
Last night he was here until probably midnight. I think the last window went in around 10 o'clock, and after he got the window in, he painted the front door. David has been on this since the very beginning. He's the first person I called when we were offered the shop, and I said, David, we got to go up and look at this thing. And he didn't run away. So I have a couple of awards I want to give today. This is for David. This is for Greg. As president of the Casco Raymond Historical Society, I am awarding them lifetime membership in the society.
Excellent, thank you, Frank.
There's only one other lifetime member, and he had to pay $100 to get his. I cannot say enough about these two guys.
Frank's been the lifeblood of the drive.
If it wasn't for these two gentlemen, this would never happen.
Yeah, Frank can say that, but the fact of the matter is Frank was the spark behind this project. This gentleman right here was the most passionate person when it came to this project, undoubtedly, and I'm just honored that I was able to be a part of it with you.
Well, I am honored to work with you guys. It has been absolutely wonderful. One of the lessons we've learned here is that you can have a museum and people come once, if you're lucky, but they never come back. They don't have a reason to come back. So what we're going to be doing is offering classes and programs to attract people here. We're going to have a blacksmithing class this fall where you'll come and make a knife out of a railroad spike. We have a gentleman who is a beekeeper who's going to be doing a beekeeping class for us here. We have some ladies coming in to do crocheting and tatting, and we hope to have weaving classes. Some of the old lost skills, we hope to offer classes in that. Eventually, we'd like to build a carpenter shop here, and where you can come and learn to use hand tools the way it was done 150 years ago. We have a huge collection of planes, which we'd be using in that shop. It's unlimited what we can do. What we need are people to come and join us, become members, and help us grow the organization.
When you think about understanding history and how you connect back through time to people and get an appreciation of what those people went through, I think it enriches people's lives, and so I think it's really important, and especially for, I think, younger people today. We were just joking in the friend's house that you've got the blackboards in there, and I wonder how many kids have even ever picked up a piece of chalk or clapped racers or any of those things, and just to even understand that and appreciate that, maybe they put down their iPhone for a couple minutes and see a little bit of that. So I think it's really important.
I hope people come here, they learn a trade that's very important, and beyond that, they get a better understanding of who they are and their family members that kind of got them to where they are today. We all came from somewhere, and I think it's important for us to recognize those past generations that worked so hard for us to be where we are, and it's humbling.
And it's just amazing and a miracle what they have done with that blacksmith shop and with the schoolhouse. I mean, everything that the Historical Society has done, because they have done it. And we did this, but they have done all of this, and it's just a tribute to our ancestors, and it's just a wonderful thing.
We're not even a year, and here we are. It's been a It's been a wonderful experience. For me personally, it was a way to kind of pay homage to family that's not with us anymore. I knew my great-grandfather Albert. He passed away when I was around 6 or 7 years old in the early 80s. And you know, it's just precious. I've literally been here. This has been my project for the past year, you know, and it's it means the world to me. It really does. It means the absolute world to me.